everybody, this spa water is about 4 months old, so we're going to drain it and refill it. I'm going to give you a little tutorial on how to do it. This spa here, this is a Caldera Utopia series, but I'm going to make it pretty generic, so it's pretty much the same concept with all spas. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn off the power to the spa. This particular spa has 2 breakers, so both of them were turned off. Most spas only have one single 50 amp breaker. Okay, so on this Caldera Utopia series, it has a drain at the very bottom. You can come in a little bit closer here. The way to operate this drain is there's a cap that we're going to pull straight out. We're going to use a pair of pliers, and you're going to pull pretty hard until it is all the way extended to where it will not come out any further. At this point, we're going to hold the stem, and we're going to unscrew the cap. Now, no water should pour out until we push this stem back in again, and I'm going to show you as an example how this thing actually drains. When it's pulled all the way out, it is turned off outside of just a very small drip. When we push it in, and this is just for example purposes, you're going to see water is going to start pouring out. Okay, so we're not going to do that though until we have our garden hose hooked up. Okay, now that it's nice and tight, I'm going to push this halfway in. Okay, that's called the midpoint. It will then start pouring water out. Okay. All right, as you can see, it's pouring out at the other end, so that's just what we want. So we're going to unravel this cord here. We're going to tighten the garden hose. To the pump, and then we're going to very carefully place the pump into the spa. Do not drop it in there. The weight of the pump could damage the bottom of the spa. So just carefully place the pump in there. It's flowing much quicker, so you will drain the spa quicker if you do have a little sump pump. All right, as you can see, the spa is drained for the most part. There is still some water in each of the bucket seats here. The pump is still on right now. A couple ways you can do this. You can either just kind of scoop the water using the lid into the center. Or if you wanted to get all the water out, you can use a shop vac. Be careful when using a shop vac that you do not drag the hose along the surface of the spa because it will leave scratches or marks. All right, now that the spa is drained, we're going to go ahead and pull this extender back out all the way to shut this valve off, and we are going to disconnect our garden hose. Put the cap back on, holding the stem, making sure that we get that nice and tight. So now we need to remove the filter. We're going to take this lid off, just place it off to the side. And then we have our floating weir and basket here, which we need to remove. So you're going to turn this counterclockwise and then lift straight out. You see there's 2 little tabs that it was locked in here. So we're going to put this to the side as well. And now we're going to pull out our filter. Going to hose the filter off, get any loose debris. I don't know if you can zoom in, you can see that I'm removing quite a bit of the dirt, and a lot of this is iron and rust from our well water. Alright, so in this bucket, it's about half full, a little less than half full of water. We're going to take this Filter Fresh product, and we're going to pour this into the water. You always want to pour the product to water, not water to the product. So you want to always add this after there's already water in the bucket. So what this is going to do is it's a degreaser, and it also removes the mineral scale. You know, it's just hosing the filter off. All that does is remove the loose debris. It does not remove body oils, suntan lotions, those types of things, or any type of minerals that are embedded into the fabric. So it's good to do a deep cleaning for 12 hours. We're going to let this soak for 12 hours, okay? And you want to completely submerge the filter. We do need to add a little bit of water to this. You want it to be completely filled. So this bucket could have been filled probably about 3/4 of the way. But either way, completely submerge the filter, let it soak for 12 hours. And then we're gonna, after 12 hours, we're gonna pull it back out again and we're gonna hose it back off again real good. And then it's always good to have a second filter so that you can let this one completely dry before you put it back in. It allows the fabric to kind of tighten back up again. If you don't have an extra filter, that's okay. You can reuse this after it is chemically clean, but it is best if you have a secondary filter to use while this one dries, and then this one will be ready for the next 4 months. All right. So now we want to clean the surface of the spot, or remove any of the film or any residue that may be left behind. In some of these spots here, there is a water line, so we want to get rid of that before we refill. So we're going to use a product called Leisure Time Citra Bright, and we're just going to generously kind of spray the area that we're going to clean. Take some paper towels. Wipe it down. You want to make sure that you wipe down all of the products. You don't want to leave any of the Citra Bright left behind, so make sure we wipe that all up until the entire spa is clean, as well as the pillows. All right, we're going to put the hose directly into the filter compartment. That way we bleed all the air out of the lines. If you put the hose directly in the spa, you can get some air trapped in the lines, and then it takes a little while for the pumps to get primed. This way you bleed all the air out, and you should have no issues with the pumps priming and working right away. Next, if you have well water, we're going to add a product called Protect Plus. This is a sequestering agent. It's going to prevent minerals and metals from coming out of solution and staining. We should put this in while the spa is filling. This particular spa is, we're going to put about 4 ounces in, okay? And there's little measure markers on the side here. And we're good. Now we're going to put the filter back in. All the way in, and then slide the basket and the weir back in, and turn it clockwise until it locks. Put our cover on. Now that the spa is full, we're going to go ahead and turn the power on. Make sure you do it with dry hands. Flip them back on, one after another. Alright, as you can see, the circulation pump started running, and we're just waiting for the top side to program itself, turn on. And now the pumps are priming themselves, working the air bubbles out. As you can see, there is still some air bubbles, even though we filled it the right way, but they will work themselves out. Now I'm going to go to the jets button. And right now jet pump 2 is on, but we want jet pump 1 to be on as well, so we hit it. And as you can hear, it was working out some more of the air. So now, as you can see, it's full water flow. We're going to turn both jet pumps on high, make sure that everything is working, which it appears to be. With this particular model, we're going to go ahead and turn on the waterfall. That's working. And then we're going to make sure that the temperature is set where we want it to be set to. Right now this one's set at 85 degrees. If that's where you want it, then leave it. Otherwise you can increase or decrease depending on where you want it set. And then just hit the back button. That's it.